Howdy everyone, it's Sam. I hope you're doing really well. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Last week I got 11 right and only the 3 wrong, and those 3 incorrect tips were supreme upsets, man. And let me just put this into perspective. I put $20 down every single week as a part of my multi, and if you get a correct round, a correct week, 100% just off $20, you could win yourself upwards of $12,000, guys. I was 3 off last week because of some wild, chaotic upsets that are just part of the norm in the NFL for the past 2 seasons running. Week number 8 starts in Tampa Bay, Florida. From Raymond James Stadium, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Baltimore Ravens, and the Baltimore Ravens are the $1.83 favorites. The Buccaneers are $1.98 outsiders, and that's on Sportsbet on Wednesday afternoon. Buccaneers, they're in a bit of strife. Tom Brady's clearly not 100% focused. The offensive line is not helping him as well. Some of his passing weapons are not the same. And moving over to the Baltimore Ravens, they only just defeated the Cleveland Browns last week, and they had another lead, and then they had it evaporate towards the end there, but they just clung on for victory. This is arguably the game of the round. I so want to tip the Baltimore Ravens, but there's a little bit more value on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the moment that I feel like I'm going to tip against Tom Brady is the game that he's going to come out and win. So I'm going to tip Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've lost 2 in a row. You can't, if Tom Brady and the Buccaneers lose this game on Thursday Night Football or Friday morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time, the Buccaneers are just about done, in my opinion. Like, they just look really bad at the moment. But it won't take much for, if there's a franchise out there that won't take much for it to snap right into gear and to take them deep into playoffs, it's the Buccaneers. So I feel like the moment that you tip against Tom Brady, he'll get you. So I'm going to tip the Buccaneers to win this one, 1-13. But don't be surprised if Baltimore win this. A battle of Lamar Jackson versus Tom Brady. What a battle. And then the final game in England for 2022 in the NFL season is coming to us from Wembley Stadium. It is Jacksonville Jaguars, or the much loved term, coined phrase, the London Jaguars hosting the Denver Broncos, and the Jaguars are $1.63 favorites to the Broncos $2.29 outsiders. That says a hell of a lot about how the Denver Broncos are going about things this year. Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Broncos, missed out on last week's game. He probably will come back. He suffered a hamstring injury. He might come back for this game. Even so, I don't know if you can tip Denver Broncos, such is the form of that franchise. Meanwhile, the Jacksonville Jaguars, look, they can have a bad loss in them, but by and large, they have improved after last season. And I just think that the experience of them playing a lot more games in London, and I think the fact that they are going to be the extreme home fans, the home team, I think it's going to be enough. I'm going to tip the Jacksonville Jaguars to get this one over Denver Broncos out there at Wembley Stadium. We travel to AT&T Stadium in Texas. The Dallas Cowboys host the Chicago Bears. The Cowboys are $1.20. The Bears are $4.60. How the hell, how did the Chicago Bears beat New England, I should say. New England. Chicago winning 33 points to 14 in one of the upsets of the season. We've had plenty of them. That was one of the biggest ones, undoubtedly. Dallas Cowboys, they had Dak Prescott back. He wasn't his best, and that's to be expected. It was his first game in about a month or so he was rusty, and he'll be better for it. Do I think the Bears are a chance in this game? I don't. I don't. But then again, who knows what the hell's going to happen week to week in this friggin' competition. I'm going to choose the Dallas Cowboys to win this one 13 plus, not an extravagant 13 plus, but I think defensively they're just going to be way too good for a Chicago Bears outfit that by and large this season have been really ordinary in attack up until last night or the night before up against New England in New England. New England. Speaking of New England, let's get on to them. The New York Jets are hosting the New England Patriots from MetLife Stadium, and the home side are at $2.08, whereas the Patriots are $1.75. Such is the rabble of the New York Jets for the past decade or so. People still don't want to have them as favorites. People still don't want to buy into the hype, and unfortunately for them, one of their main factors as to why their fortunes have turned around this year, their running back Breece Hall did his ACL in, and by all reports, while I haven't seen him play, he's been killing it in 2022. And the New England Patriots just went so easy, so lightly on the Chicago Bears this past weekend. Boy howdy, Patriots went and flogged Cleveland Browns as well and nearly snuck home against the Green Bay Packers. What the hell happened at Gillette Stadium, Patriots? So also the news out there at New York Jets is they've actually traded a couple of their draft picks from next season to acquire the services of James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars, a running back who is quite talented. I'm not familiar with the Jaguars players, but by accounts as well, this player, James Robinson, the running back, he's quite solid, and allegedly this is from Tom Grossi. I definitely urge you to go check out his channel. He's being underutilized. So that's a great replacement, although I'm really not too sure how that really will come to fruition for them in their first game. Hopefully he does play in this contest. At $2.08, I'm going to tip the New York Jets, man. They are missing a running back, but by and large, they're still the same unit. And the Patriots, what the hell happened there? So the New York Jets, I'm going to trust to continue to keep on going on this really, really cool run that they're on. 1-13, New York Jets against the Patriots. Caesars Superdome is the venue for the next contest, and the New Orleans Saints are hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. The Saints are $2.10 outsiders, whereas the away side are $1.74. This is a pure flip of the coin. Las Vegas Raiders winning 38 points to 20 against the Houston Texans in front of their home fans last weekend, letting in 20 points. A little bit to work on there defensively. And as for the New Orleans Saints, they just they didn't show up in that second quarter, and that's what cost them. But they were down about 35 points to 14 or something to that magnitude, and they came back roaring, man. And the final scoreline against the Arizona Cardinals was 42 points to 34. So there was a time there where it was about 35-10, 35-14, and then the final scoreline ended up being 42 to 34. And if it wasn't for a couple of interceptions by the Cardinals, who knows, the Saints could have won this game. But I think the Las Vegas Raiders, I think the loss that they had to the Kansas City Chiefs, the way that they went down was honorable. You don't want an honorable loss though, you want the wins. But they had the bye the week after, and then they got the win against the Houston Texans and scored 38 points, which is nothing to sneeze at. So I think the Las Vegas Raiders, if they win this one, I think it keeps their playoff hopes alive. And while $2.10 about the New Orleans Saints, it, probably would be snapped up by a lot of people because of the value there, I'm going to go the Las Vegas Raiders to win this game. Then we're off to Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Atlanta Falcons are hosting the Carolina Panthers. The Falcons are $1.46 favorites. The Panthers are $2.74 outsiders, and the Carolina Panthers destroyed my multi last week, first of all, by defeating the Buccaneers last week. They seem to be just shredding this old snake skin that they've got on them, and Hopefully they'll be better for it next season, but by and large, I think their season is already done, even though technically they're probably still alive, especially considering the division that they are in as well. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Falcons, they went down to the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they just got a bit of a reality check last weekend. I think they're a good competitive football team. I've been saying it for weeks, but I just think that against a much better side, they sort of really got brought back down to earth. This is going to be a close game. I think at $2.74, I think that's not bad on Carolina, but I think Atlanta are in better form. They have been in better form, and Carolina's win against Tampa Bay last week, I think, was an aberration. I think it was just totally left field, and I don't think they will build momentum from it because it's been quite a disastrous season for the Carolina Panthers. Atlanta Falcons to win this one, 1-13. Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is the next venue where the Eagles host the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Eagles are $1.17, the Steelers are $5.10. Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to win this game. Philadelphia Eagles, 14 plus. Ford Field is the location for our next contest. Detroit Lions are hosting the Miami Dolphins. The Lions are $2.44. The Miami Dolphins are $1.56. And the Detroit Lions still only have the one win this year. And they took it to Dallas Cowboys for a time there last week, but they lost 24 points to 6. And the Miami Dolphins had a bit of a tough time against the Pittsburgh Steelers, winning 16 points to 10. A couple of rugby league score lines there. Detroit Lions are better than a one-win team, for sure. And I think I'm gonna take the value at $2.44. I know that's a massive gamble because Tua is back and he's only going to be better for it. But I think Detroit Lions, if they can really run that ball and if they can actually have their best defensive effort of the game of the season, I think they'll just pinch it. I think this will be a thriller either way, whether Miami win or Lions win. I think this will be a thriller, and I'm actually going to tip the Detroit Lions to get their second win of the season. US Bank Stadium is the next venue. Minnesota Vikings host the Arizona Cardinals. The Vikings are $1.48. The Cardinals are $2.67. This is going to reveal a lot about the Minnesota Vikings. Some have said, and I tend to agree, they've had a rather easy draw, but you can only defeat what's in front of you. And the only loss that the Vikings have had was against the Philadelphia Eagles, where they lost heavily. Up against the Arizona Cardinals, who are as inconsistent as the next side. They got that victory against the New Orleans Saints, 42 points to 34, but if it wasn't for 2 interceptions, how would they have gone? We'll never know. Again, you can only win, you can only beat what's in front of you. I'm going to tip the Minnesota Vikings here, man, but I think it's going to be a thrilling game. I think Cardinals are going to be there to play. And if the Vikings lose this contest, oh man, I feel like the Vikings are on the precipice of either going on a really good run, or they're going to be one of them teams that has a massive downhill end of season, second half to the season, because their draw gets really tough in about 2 or 3 weeks' time for the Minnesota Vikings. So Minnesota to win this one, 1-13. Houston hosts Tennessee. The Texans are $2.11 outsiders, and the Titans are $1.73 favorites. Titans, man, they're not overly convincing, but they're getting the job done and they're getting right back on track. So maybe the Titans are coming, we'll see. And for the Texans, they scored 20 points last week. They defensively couldn't shut out the Las Vegas Raiders. Their season's just really starting to stagnate, if anything. So I do recall, however, if memory serves me correctly, that the Texans went down to Tennessee last year and got the victory. So it could be an upset. So I'm going to tip the Tennessee Titans, but I think this will be a tight game for a little while here. So Tennessee Titans to win this one, 1-13. Lucas Oil Stadium sees Indianapolis Colts host the Washington Commanders. The Colts are $1.64 favorites to the Commanders' $2.26. Oh, this could be a tough old watch. So, massive news. Matt Ryan, the quarterback for the Colts, his season is done. I believe it's a shoulder separation, and that's him done. So what's happening is there is a rookie quarterback, first name Sam, his last name escapes me, and he's debuting this weekend. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz, his season may be over, at least for the next few weeks anyway. It's on ice. And last week, Taylor Heineke, not an unname that is familiar to me or should be unfamiliar to you if you're an NFL fan, got the dub, impressively so, against the Green Bay Packers. Thrilling contest, but still, it's impressive that the Commanders got the win against Green Bay in front of their home fans, which is actually leading me to think that the Commanders can beat the Colts this weekend. Jonathan Taylor, I think he's back this weekend, or he was back last weekend, but obviously didn't have too much of a say in the contest because the Colts did go down to Tennessee last weekend. Yeah, I'm actually going to tip the Washington Commanders to win this game, and they're at $2.26. Taylor Heineke is a pretty decent, handy old quarterback to have as a backup. So I'm going to go the Commanders to beat the Colts. I think the Commanders are just more settled, and the Colts are just, I don't know, man. But between these two sides, I'd probably say the Colts are probably the team more out of form, I'd guess. So Commanders to win this game 1-13. Then in arguably the game of the week, Seattle Seahawks are hosting the New York Giants from Lumen Field. Seattle are $1.67 favorites to the Giants $2.22. Unfortunately though, that price might come back in or blow out a little bit because DK Metcalf won't be playing in this game. He is injured, maybe just for the 1 week or two. But DK Metcalf is out. That's a huge loss. Really good timing for the New York Giants. I think this might be the biggest test for the New York Giants. Just a side that's in Seattle that a lot of people didn't see doing so well this year. And then the same thing with New York Giants. These two teams are colliding this Monday morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be such a good game, man. I think Seattle are in this game right up to their eyeballs. Geno Smith is doing wonders. This young man, Kenneth Walker, who's Rashad Penny. Kenneth Walker's come in and he's doing some really good things. His touchdown, I think it was 60 meters, a 60-yard touchdown or plus, was sensational against the Los Angeles Chargers last week. Seattle Seahawks are 4-3, man. Wow, man, wow. So I'm going to tip the Seattle Seahawks. I never tip against my team, but it's going to be a good game. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. Seattle Seahawks versus Giants. I'm going to tip Seattle Seahawks, who are the favorites, at $1.67. An NFC West showdown awaits us. The 49ers are $1.84 favorites to the Rams $1.97. And I think I'm going to tip the Los Angeles Rams here. I know that offensively, the 49ers are better. I think the Rams, though, well, they are coming off the bye. They are the champions. That bye couldn't have come at a better time as well. I'm going to tip the Los Angeles Rams here. I think this will be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised, however, if 49ers do win it, especially since they have bought Christian McCaffrey over as well from the Carolina Panthers. So, excuse me, I'm going to go Los Angeles Rams to win this one 1-13, and it's also because they're the outsiders at $1.97, so a nice little bit of value that's going to tip me over as well. And then Sunday Night Football, the big game on Sunday night in America, Monday morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time. The Buffalo Bills are hosting the Green Bay Packers. The Bills are $1.18, the Packers are at $4.95. And people are already writing off the Packers, and we saw what Chicago did last night. We saw what Chicago did on Monday Night Football. I know it's a completely different set of circumstances, two completely different outlooks and teams, but anything could happen. And Aaron Rodgers, he said in his press conference that maybe this is the game that everyone's writing us off, and this is the game that we need to really prove to everyone no, and to prove to ourselves that no, we're here. I'm not going to tip Green Bay because Buffalo, while Philadelphia and Kansas City are going gangbusters, the Buffalo Bills are still the most dangerous side in all of NFL. So Buffalo Bills to win this one by 13 plus against Green Bay. And Monday Night Football is the Ohio Derby from Paul Brown Stadium. The Bengals are hosting the Browns, and Cincinnati are $1.48 favorites, and the Browns are at $2.67. Cincinnati Bengals, 1-13. Yo, that's it for me for this weekend. Thank you very much for the continuous support, guys. There's going to be a lot more live streams coming for the Rugby League World Cup as well. So stay tuned for that with Hold the Ball. Really enjoying my time with him as well. But yeah, hopefully I can get myself 100% and win myself bloody 12 grand or more. So yeah, thank you all very much for the continuous support. Go you Seattle Seahawks. I hope your team wins this weekend, except for the New York Giants. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you. Adios.